Welcome to Reading, Writing, and Rain. This is a podcast about reading, books, writing, and of course, my writer's journey. I am your host, Rhayne Coleman, and you can follow me on Twitter at Coleman Rhayne, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Reading, Writing, Rain, and use that hashtag RWRPod when you're listening to this podcast, when you're watching it live on YouTube, when you're consuming Reading, Writing, and Rain media. Be sure to use that hashtag, answer any questions that I might ask, and pose any questions to me. Let's get this conversation going. So first and foremost, Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you had a great new year, great end of the year. And this episode is going to be a interesting one. So first off, I won NaNo. So kudos to me there. This was my first time winning that I can think of. So I've participated in NaNo in the past, and I've lost NaNo, but I've also won in the sense that I've gotten words on the page, substantially more words than I would have had I not participated. But as far as an official win, NaNo2022 was my most official winning ever, and I'm grateful for it. And it was a pretty satisfying feeling to get that big congratulations and watch the video and get my certificate and all that good stuff. But for me, though I won NaNo, I still have not finished the work in progress. So it's like, I'm excited to have won, and I'm excited that I've gotten further along in my project, but let me tell you, I am not finished. So for this NaNo, I worked on Project YI, and it's something that I've mentioned in some previous podcast episodes. I got further along, of course, than I had before, and having spent that time away from this project and then getting back to it, of course, I could kind of consume it with fresh new eyes. With my outline, this is still solid. I believe this is the project where I wrote out an outline from start to finish for the first time ever. Like, I've had outlines before. I'm a bit of a pantser, plotter type guy, but this was the first project that I worked on where the outline from start to finish was pristine. Like, everything that I knew I wanted to happen was plugged into this outline, which made this, surprisingly enough, a little bit intimidating to write because there were no usual maybe flaws, missteps, areas for improvement. Now, that's not to say that this is a perfect outline. I'm still working through it. I haven't finished the book, and it's a living, breathing thing. I'm adding to it where need be, subtracting, moving things around, but this was the first time that I've had a complete outline start to finish, and that's exactly it. But with that being said, this is the project that got me to the winning NaNo of 2022, and I'm excited for it. Though this project, I'm still trying to figure out what it is that I'm going to do with it, like when I'll release it and all the details surrounding it. One thing for sure that I learned, though, is through writing more and the story evolving just ever slightly, mainly with the details, is that opening that I wrote has to be redone. And I'm contemplating, like, I'm putting down ideas of what I think should happen, could happen, different timelines for the story. But I'm wondering if I should just wait until I'm like completely done and then try to seed in some of those events throughout the book as like a foreshadowing moment. Even if I don't and I keep it as is, it still needs to be rewritten to be stronger. There's some things that, or ideas, things, themes, whatever, that were kind of seeded, laid out in the opening like 2 or 3 chapters that I don't feel like those things are strong enough as it stands now. And through writing more of this project and getting more words down and living in that world a little bit longer, I know I have to go back and change some things around. So I'm looking forward to that. How was NaNo for you all? Did you win NaNo? Did you lose NaNo? Did you participate? Were you a rebel? How was NaNo 2022 for you all? Winning Nano felt, it was exciting. I'm not gonna lie. Now, I'm not one who's married to the idea of only, or like that's winning or losing Nano does not make or break me. It doesn't change how I feel about my project or anything. But if I do want to hone in on like the feelings, it did feel good to get that done. And I'm not even sure if it's just simply because I met the goal, or if it's, I guess, the first official time I've met the goal, or if it is, this is a big communal event and everyone participates and it's this big thing. Because even that would be false, because though it is a large event, I was mainly like with myself. I didn't do hardly any sprints with anyone. I did not participate in any like live in person retreats, writing sessions, or any of that. Like, it's usually always me by myself. And so I don't know where this feeling of excitement past actually hitting the goal, I'm not sure where this is coming from. you know and I'm still kind of parsing out my feelings, knowing that there's a Nano right around the corner in April, and I'm like, do I want to participate in April? Do I want to do the July? Do I feel emboldened with the strength of the congratulations certificate from 2022 to like power through and knock out all of the rest of the Nanos this year, 2023? Who knows? Maybe. But again, if you won Nano, if you lost, if you're a rep, whatever, let me know. How was Nano for you all? So, moving into post Nano. So, how did I spend the end of my year? So, for the month of December, it was a lot of resting, relaxation, kind of filling the creative well that had been depleted from writing and other works. So, I do have the podcast. I am dealing with the YouTube, putting videos up and whatnot, TikTok itself, other manuscripts that I have working on, goals, plans for the year. Like, it really, for me, December was a getting back to basics, and basics being sleeping as much as possible and not touching the computer unless you absolutely have to. I gave myself this time off, but it wasn't truly even time off. I spent a lot of time writing, and not even necessarily with this work in progress, like dealing with different projects that I have like in the works, different manuscripts, and then things that I want to get started on, and just kind of toying around with them, because I wasn't so hyper focused on a certain word count or getting words in every single day for 30 days straight. I had time to breathe and just take a step back and look at what I've already accomplished. And I have several manuscripts that are complete, some that need editing, some that are a little incomplete, some that are just ideas that I started and just wanted to get as much down as possible. Then I have some that are just like world building, plot ideas, just like the bare bones or barely the bare bones of a project. And so I spent December like reading through a lot of the work that I already have done, a lot of those projects that are in the works, and then rereading my work in progress. No editing. I'm just focused on getting these words out at this point. But I reread it to see what's to try to decide how am I going to move forward. I am one who is very much a nerd. I love comics. I love sci-fi. I love Afrofuturism. I love I love it all. And so I really am trying to decide, with the books that I have written already, things that need to be edited, stuff in progress and all that, if there is this massive shared universe. And when I say massive, I mean massive. I mean covering all genres that I want to write in. And so I spent a lot of December kind of going over that to figure out what my game plan was. And I'm not married to any one thing, because of course this could change. I'm not going to beat myself up if it does. But I did spend a lot of time with my work. I didn't do a whole lot of reading of other work past like some comic books here and there. But as far as like digging into other novels that I have that are TBR, novels that I have that I'm currently in the middle of that I haven't picked up in months, I have not looked at any of that. December has solely been about Rhayne. and Rhayne's works and what to do with said work. So I'm focusing on that, and even coming into January, into this new year, I think I want to make it a point to live in those worlds. And I say that because me being someone who has so many manuscripts just like kind of hanging out, what I realize is that I do not revisit them as often as I probably should. When you're writing something, of course, you want to put space between you and the project for a little bit, maybe not a month, 2 months, years, or whatnot, but you want to put a little bit of distance and then maybe get some fresh eyes on it. But for a lot of my projects, I love these projects. I'm enjoying them, but I don't give them the FaceTime that I feel like I need to. And I'm trying to, one of my goals is to do better with setting aside time to live in these worlds, to figure out what's what, because I may realize, okay, one of these I just never want to publish this is not necessary. There may be some where, oh, I can combine these and these can be this and that, it could be a different story, whatever, like. But I think if I am not spending time with this project, if I'm feeling like it's hurting me more than it's helping me. Though you do want to be focused on the one that you're working on. Who says you can't write 3 or 4 books at once? So that's kind of where I am now. So here in January and moving forward, I'm going to try my best for 2023 to not only write the books that I'm writing and wanting to get out, but also living with the books that I am in progress, these literal works in progress, and give them a little bit more face time so that I can get that motivation and maybe develop some new ideas and whatever else. Because the one thing that I enjoy about being a writer is that you can get stressed about your writing, like, oh, is this good? I don't know if this is good, this is trash, whatever. But a lot of times, more times than not, when you revisit your work, you are shocked and surprised and appalled by how good you are, how good this story is, how interesting this is. And for me personally, I just need time away from them projects at times. And I feel like juggling 5, 6, 7, 8 of them, not necessarily working on them, but like reading them over, is going to help me. So it's more of a little experiment, but I'm hoping that this works out in my favor and ultimately future readers' favor as well. So dealing with this potential multiverse and figuring out how to move these pieces along the board 1 week at a time. So with that, I do have a book that is completely finished. It's one, at this point, is one of 2 in a duet series that has the potential to grow and be more. And my plan was to hold off on publishing the first one until the second one was done and just as pristine or in its final form like the first one. But I'm thinking that I don't know that I have that time. And with this first one being done, what I need now is to prepare to publish it. And I think the last piece really is getting a cover made, and that's another reason why I wanted to wait until both were done so I could like have them match each other and this and that. But it's like, man, get that book out. That's how I'm feeling now. Get that book out. So that is my main focus, my number one goal over all others for 2023 is to get that book out. And in the midst of like getting a cover designer and figuring out the kinks and whatever else is needed to actually physically publish this is to continue on with the second book. Because oddly enough, the book that's in the duet series where the first one is done, the second one is about 98% done as well, because there's like maybe 2 chapters that I need to write and then of course go through editing. But the work in progress for NaNo is not affiliated with these 2 books. So it's like I have 3 books just kind of floating around, 1 completely done, 2 in the midst of draft 1 and 2. And I'm trying to be a little bit more focused and not let this stop me or hinder me from getting anything else done. But I think that if I can go ahead and get this first one out, in the midst of getting it out, wrap up the second one and get that edited. And because truly, I do believe in the story. That's the other thing. I don't think there's much like the way in which I set this story up and the way that it ended, because the ending is what was getting me before. This is the second book is a project I worked on before Nano, and I took Nano to step away from that so I can come back at it with fresh eyes. But the ending is what was getting me, and not the very end. Like this is the wrap up of the story. Like the events kind of leading to the ending in that third act was getting to me, and I don't know why. But I'm hoping when I revisit it in the upcoming week or so that this will be that I'll have the same success that I have my work in progress for Nano, the Project E. So that's my goal, that's my hope, is to be able to publish the first book and then go into book two and wrap up all of that with these months that I've spent away from it, which is about 2 months that I spent away from the second book, and then get that going for hopefully sometime in the summer, and then finish out the year with the Nano project from 2022. So that is my tentative plan. We will see how that goes. I'll take y'all along the journey with me, but I am enjoying the ride. Truly, honestly, and truly, I am. And with this, I am looking for a cover designer. So you want to, well, the advice that I've been given, which makes total sense, is to look within your genre. What is trending in your genre? What looks good? What is the thing that every book on average has in common? And one thing that I've seen is these cartoonish type covers, and I don't particularly care for them. And it's not that they're not good, because you could tell that the people who are making these covers are talented. They're putting time and energy into them. But to me, they look like clip art, a lot of them, not all. And that is not a style that I particularly enjoy. And I may end up going with something that looks like that, but I think because there's like pretty much a science to the cover artness of it all, I'm not worried, but I am cautious. I know you can change a book cover whenever the hell you want. That's not an issue, but I'm still just a little cautious about, like, what is this going to look like? This will be my first book, and it'll be published and on these shelves, digital shelves and whatnot, because of course I'm self-publishing. And I know that there's an audience for everyone. If you like toasters, Barbie dolls, the color green in summer, and you want to make a clothing line or a book series or something, there are people who that's going to speak to them. So I'm not necessarily worried about, oh, will people like it? Well, no, because you can't please everyone. But when it comes to that cover, that's like the first representation of this project. Like when you meet someone, they can be a great person, but you're not necessarily judging them off of how great they are. You're judging them off of what you see first. And it's not, I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling a bit, but I'm a little cautious, and I'm probably a little nervous about getting a cover made, especially when my books are predominantly Black, POC. And I don't doubt that I can find me a cover artist who will do a good job. It's just, if I'm being quite honest, a lot of it feels a little overwhelming before I even really got into it, because I've been looking at different artists and folks who aren't necessarily even cover artists, like different comic book, manga artists, different digital artists, who maybe just people who have artistic ability that is not solely focused on making covers for books. So we'll see how that goes, and I'm hoping that I make the right choices when it comes to this project, but we gonna find out together. So so there's that. But all in all, I'm excited about 2023 and what that means for me, and what it means for y'all, and what it means just in general coming to publishing, traditional and self-published, and just what new twists and turns are going to be thrown our way, because 2022 was no joke. And this is coming from someone who is not as well versed and steeped into the publishing like a lot of other folks. So I've seen some mess that these people have gone through, and some of the drama that's unfolded over the year and whatnot. So I don't know. All in all, I'm excited, and I hope that you all are as well, and you'll continue to follow me on this stressful, fun, fantastic, nerve-wracking roller coaster ride. What am I reading? So currently, really not much. I'm reading my manuscripts, my works in progress right now. But as far as other books, if it's not a comic or something for like my other podcast, I'm not really reading anything right now, which is so sad. I am going to pick up Kindred by Octavia Butler. I did start watching the series, the FX/Hulu series, but I'm going to kind of dive into that as well, just for something else later on. But right now, I'm truly just reading my own work, so I don't know. That's that. But what are you guys reading? How did you end your year? I know a lot of folks do the X amount of books in the year that they want to complete. I'm not doing that because I ain't gonna hold you. And if I do, it would have to be comic books because I run through those like it's nothing. I cannot do prose. I can't do 52 books a year. I can't do it. But what are you guys reading? And did you hit your goals? If you did have one of those X amount of books per year goals, did you meet your goal? And if you didn't, why not? Was it just life got to where you was like, look, I don't want to do it. I completely understand. So yeah, so thank you all for listening and watching again. Please again remember to hit me up on the social medias, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. That is Reading Writing Rhayne. And if you want to hit me up on Twitter, that is 𝘾𝙤𝙡𝙚𝙤𝙣. Rhayne is 𝘾𝙤𝙡𝙚 for those of you who are not looking at the name. 𝘾𝙤𝙡𝙚. So thank you all so much. Happy New Year again. And until next time, go read something, go write something, then come back and tell me, Rhayne.